So, a question that Nancy and I get all the time, um, obviously me particularly, just because of how long I've been coaching and teaching LinkedIn strategy, almost 14 years now. Something that I still have people asking me is, how can I stand out on LinkedIn? Now, I will say that there there are definitely some very strategic ways of how to stand out on LinkedIn, and a lot of it does start with your LinkedIn profile. But there's also additional ways to make sure that people do view you as the expert that you are in the space that you're in. And what I can tell you is of all the social media platforms that everyone is using right now, LinkedIn definitely gives you the most organic visibility and chance to stand out because of how the algorithm works, the types of people that are on the platform, but also the disparity of people creating content compared to those who are not. Now, before I break down the three ways of how you can stand out on LinkedIn, just to let you guys know, as a reminder, actually 2 weeks from today, Nancy and I will be hosting our free content creation workshop for LinkedIn. It is called Content That Converts. So it's teaching coaches, consultants, and service professionals how to leverage our content creation strategy to attract more people to their content to acquire more clients. So if you're on LinkedIn and you want to start converting more people into paying clients, then this workshop is for you. So if you are watching on social, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, just type the word me in the comments and I'll send you the link to get registered. It is from March 23rd to March 25th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live and recorded. And we're going to give you all the tricks to the trade. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, super duper easy. If you just go to the description of this episode, you can grab the link right there and get yourself registered. So, the three ways of how you can stand out on LinkedIn. Now, I will start with your LinkedIn profile because I really feel that is one of those things that people do negate a little bit. Now, within your LinkedIn profile, one of the first things that you can do to stand out is the background banner. Now, if anyone visits my LinkedIn profile, if you just go onto LinkedIn and just search Scott Aaron Coach, go to my profile. The first thing that you will see is my background banner, which reads the LinkedIn Content Sales and Marketing System for coaches, consultants, and service professionals. So here's the thing with your background banner, you want to do two things in particular. Number one, you want to state what it is that you do and how you serve people. And number two, who you serve with what you do. So, what you do and who you serve with what you do. So, again, the LinkedIn Content Sales and Marketing System, that's what I do, right? I have a LinkedIn Content Sales and Marketing System, and who it's for. It is for coaches, consultants, and service professionals. So, I encourage all of you to look at your profile, specifically your background banner, and really ask yourself, is my background banner a clear depiction of what it is that I do and who I do that for? If it's not, just go to Canva, canva.com, search for LinkedIn banner. It'll give you some examples and just use one of their templates and just make sure that you do something like what I did, which is stating what you do and who you do it for. So that's the first thing that you can do to stand out on LinkedIn. The second thing, and I've talked about this before, is gathering LinkedIn recommendations. Now, if you were to scroll down within my LinkedIn profile, you will see that I have 529 written recommendations. The last one I gathered was in late January, so it is still very current, just a few weeks ago. I strive to continue to gather as much credibility and showcasing of my expertise as possible. And within LinkedIn, specifically your profile, that is best accomplished by leveraging your recommendation section. Now, within your recommendation section, you have some options of who you can send these recommendation requests for. It could be people that you have worked with, you currently work with, you've worked for, you're coaching, you have coached, maybe you've collaborated with, because people could just speak to your credibility. So, my advice is every month, go in and there's a little plus sign under the recommendation section and choose 5 people within your LinkedIn ecosystem that you know, like, and trust, that you have some sort of business connection to. Ask them to write you a recommendation, and you'd be happy to write one back for them in return. Because even though I've received 529, I've also given nearly 200. Because I always tell people, listen, if you write one for me, I will write one for you. So not everyone asks me to write one for them, but if they do, I'll write one. So making sure, again, number one, that background banner clearly states what it is that you do and who you do it for, and gathering and accruing as many LinkedIn recommendations as possible where other people are speaking directly about your skill set, your expertise, and the results that you've gotten for other people, because you want the words of others to speak on your behalf. So there's no more convincing people that you connect with and collaborate with that you're the go-to person. Those words that other people are writing is that defining factor that's going to position you as the go-to person and the expert in the space that you're in. Now, the third and final way that you can stand out on LinkedIn is through your content. And this is partly why we're teaching this in our upcoming workshop. Now, the fact of the matter is that there's multiple pieces of content that you can create. And I typically create 4 different types of content each week: my LinkedIn newsletter, LinkedIn video, LinkedIn polls, and image text posts. Now, not every image text post is going to get, a ton of engagement or votes in your poll or people engaging and commenting in your videos, but it's about positioning yourself as the expert. And this is where your content does that. Everything that you create on LinkedIn from a content perspective, whether that's a newsletter, a text post, an image text post, a poll, a carousel post, a short form video, long form video, it all should be centralized around what it is that you do and how you do it. So if anybody was to pick any piece of content that I've created on LinkedIn, it's all around helping people with LinkedIn strategy from what works for myself, Nancy, and the company that we run. So just as an example, my LinkedIn newsletter, my most recent one, was entitled "Why LinkedIn is the Best Platform for Coaches, Consultants, and Service Professionals." And it got a lot of nice engagement. I did a video prior to that taught people about some of the updates to LinkedIn events, namely the analytics that you now can see through LinkedIn events. I did a poll on what is your biggest struggle on LinkedIn: low visibility, weak engagement, no inbound leads. And I had 27 people that voted, and it was pretty, evenly split: 37% low visibility, 26% weak engagement, 33% no inbound leads. So right there, that's telling me that everybody is struggling with all 3 of those. So I can create content about how to increase visibility, how to increase your engagement, how to create more inbound leads. So this is good market research. And then my LinkedIn image text post was all about, letting people know that, the content creation process doesn't have to be challenging. I said engagement runs deeper. And it was just, going over our visibility to conversion method that Nancy and I have created and things that you can do, right? Strategic visibility, having the right audience, trust first content, value before selling, and the consistency engine, which is 3 to 4 intentional posts per week. And again, you can go back through any of my content, right? And you can see the newsletter before that. Your LinkedIn experience section is not a resume, it's your authority timeline. So again, your content should be also one of the drivers as how to stand out on LinkedIn and how to make sure that you're being showcased as the expert in the space that you're in. And if that's something that you're struggling with, that's exactly why Nancy and I are running this workshop from March 23rd to March 25th, where we're going to be teaching coaches, consultants, service professionals, entrepreneurs how to turn the content creation process not only into a lead generation machine, but a client acquisition machine and a sales acquiring machine. So again, if you're watching on social, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just type the word me in the comments and I will send you the link to get yourself registered. As a reminder, March 23rd to March 25th from 12 to 1 Eastern, live and recorded. And we're going to teach you all the ins and outs. If you're listening on the podcast, the link is in the description of this episode, so you can grab it there. So remember, making sure that background banner, use canva.com if you don't have a background banner that is appropriate. It should highlight what you do and who you do it for. Gather those LinkedIn recommendations so you can let the words of others speak on your behalf as far as your brilliance, your expertise, your skill set, and what you're best known for. And third and final, let that content drive the visibility. Every single piece of content that you put out there should be solving people's problems, should be giving them something to think about, and should shorten that gap between them trying to get to know you to now knowing exactly what it is that you do, who you do it for, how you do it, and how you're serving people as the expert in the space that you're in. So I hope you enjoyed today's training and today's episode. Love and gratitude, and I'll talk to you next time.